Imagine this. A guy crashes his car into a mall fountain because his GPS yelled, "Turn left now." A woman files a claim because her neighbor's llama stole her emotional stability. And somewhere in Texas, a man is demanding full reimbursement because a squirrel staged a coup in his attic and held his Christmas lights hostage. These aren't plot lines from a deleted Jumanji reboot. These are the actual 56 most unhinged, brain-melting insurance claim complaints ever filed by real humans who definitely should not be left unsupervised. All right, before we jump into this chaos tornado, do the Holy Trinity, hit like. So your insurance company can't raise your premiums for laughing? Subscribe so you're officially covered for future stupidity. And drop your wildest disaster in the comments. Don't be shy, we've all broken something we shouldn't have. Let's roll. 1. A man crashed his car straight into a mall fountain because his GPS suddenly yelled, "Turn left now," and he obeyed without question. Shoppers watched the car slide into the water like it was auditioning for a holiday disaster movie. Security sprinted over while one kid cheered as if Santa himself had arrived early. The driver calmly stepped out and announced he would be filing for sleigh collision and emotional disappointment because Christmas magic clearly failed him. A mall worker tried not to laugh as Santa's giant plastic boot floated by. Everyone agreed this was the most festive wreck of the season. 2. A dog stormed into an insurance office looking betrayed because his owner had dressed him as a reindeer for a holiday photo. The woman declared the dog had filed an emotional distress complaint through a holiday psychic who claimed the antlers damaged his dignity. Staff tried to stay professional while the dog stared at them with deep personal resentment. She demanded coverage for legal protection and reimbursement for removing all costume evidence. One employee whispered that the dog looked ready to countersue the whole building. Another had to turn away to stop laughing. The woman insisted this was a serious holiday crisis. 3. A man tried to claim his entire holiday bunker as home security upgrades because he believed a zombie apocalypse was scheduled for Christmas Eve. He told the insurer zombies hate Christmas carols, which made the agent blink 3 times before asking if this was a joke. The man showed diagrams of reinforced candy cane barricades and a peppermint escape hatch. Another employee peeked over the cubicle and whispered that this felt like a rejected action movie pitch. The man remained confident his claim should be approved. The office sat silently wondering how to explain that zombies were not officially listed as holiday threats. 4. A homeowner burst into the insurance office insisting a squirrel had stolen his Christmas lights and was obviously a trained elf spy. He claimed the animal conducted Yuletide espionage and showed video of the squirrel dragging lights across the roof like it was on a classified mission. The agent struggled not to laugh as another staff member whispered that the squirrel deserved a tiny promotion. Neighbors testified they saw the creature carrying ornaments with surprising professionalism. The man demanded compensation for emotional distress and compromised holiday security. The office had no idea how to write a report that involved an undercover squirrel. 5. A woman marched in holding a stack of unwanted fruitcakes and declared her smart speaker had ordered 47 of them without permission. She claimed the device triggered tech-induced holiday trauma and culinary assault. The staff exchanged looks because no one wanted to ask why the speaker would commit such a crime. One technician checked the logs while another whispered that maybe the speaker was begging for help. The woman insisted she would not store or taste a single fruitcake. She demanded full reimbursement plus emotional relief. The office fought the urge to laugh as the fruitcakes began sinking the counter. 6. A driver stumbled into the claims department explaining he had driven directly into a petting zoo because his GPS told him to turn left at the manger. Goats scattered everywhere. A donkey stared at him with judgment. Parents filmed the chaos while hay flew into the air like confetti. The man insisted he was misled by religious navigation fraud and expected coverage. The agent tried to remain calm while reviewing photos of his car wedged between a sheep and a wooden nativity camel. A coworker whispered that even the animals looked embarrassed. The man argued this was clearly the GPS acting wholly without permission. 7. A suburban resident arrived complaining that his inflatable Santa had exploded without warning, and he believed reindeer sabotage was involved. He said he heard a loud pop, followed by Santa collapsing across the yard like a dramatic soap opera character. Neighbors gathered to investigate, while one kid cried, because Santa looked defeated. The man wanted a replacement plus counseling for the shock. The insurer asked if he had evidence of sabotage. He pointed to hoof-shaped dents in the snow. A staff member nearly laughed out loud. The man insisted this was a targeted attack against his holiday spirit. 8. A frustrated parent entered the office explaining that the Santa hired for a holiday event had ghosted them completely and vanished hours before the party. The replacement search failed, which left the kids heartbroken. The parent demanded compensation for contractual clause failure while showing text where Santa promised to arrive with cheer. The agent asked if anyone verified the man was an actual performer. The parent admitted he might have been a cousin's friend who responded too enthusiastically to free cookies. Neighbors complained the party turned chaotic. The office tried to remain serious while the parent insisted Santa must be replaced immediately. 9. A dog owner claimed her smart holiday lights synced unexpectedly to a heavy metal version of Jingle Bells, which sent her dog into an existential crisis. The lights strobed like a concert while the dog howled as if questioning the meaning of life. Neighbors peeked out thinking a rock band had invaded the home. The woman demanded coverage for emotional recovery and a refund for the lights. The agent listened patiently while trying not to laugh. Another staff member suggested the dog might now be a philosophical musician. The owner insisted the lights caused spiritual confusion. Everyone agreed the scene sounded unforgettable. 10. A homeowner complained that the neighbor's laser reindeer display projected directly into his bedroom at 3 in the morning. He woke up thinking futuristic creatures were invading his pillows. He demanded coverage for sleep loss and fear of sentient holiday animals. The insurer asked if he had confronted the neighbor. He said the neighbor claimed the reindeer were spreading cheer. The man disagreed because glowing antlers on the ceiling felt more like a sci-fi nightmare. His spouse backed the story while holding coffee and glaring at imaginary reindeer shadows. The office tried not to laugh while registering the claim. 11. A man drove straight into a lake shaped like a Christmas tree after his GPS rerouted him without warning. His car sank nose first while he climbed onto the roof yelling that he needed hydro holiday rescue coverage. Bystanders filmed as festive-shaped ripples floated around him. One fisherman asked how someone could miss a lake shaped exactly like a giant tree. The man insisted his GPS betrayed him to nature and deserved to be held accountable. Rescue workers pulled him out, shaking their heads. The insurer listened carefully while trying not to laugh at the Christmas-shaped disaster. 12. A parent rushed into the insurance office explaining that their robotic vacuum had sucked up the handwritten note proving Santa was real. The child found the empty space and screamed for 20 minutes, which caused a family-wide meltdown. The parent demanded compensation for autonomous belief destruction. The agent asked if the vacuum kept the note. The parent showed a video of the device spinning proudly, like it solved a mystery. Relatives argued over how to recreate the evidence while the child refused to sleep. The office tried to stay professional while imagining a vacuum holding the secret to Christmas truth. 13. A family claimed their Christmas dinner was interrupted when one relative experienced an alien abduction that ruined what they called their peaceful gathering guarantee. Plates dropped. The turkey nearly flew off the table. Grandmother fainted. When the relative reappeared, he said the aliens disliked dry stuffing. The insurer listened while the family demanded the deductible be waived because extraterrestrial interference should count as unexpected holiday disruption. One staff member excused herself to laugh in the hallway. The applicant insisted the lights flickered and chairs moved. The office took notes while trying to decide how to classify alien activity during seasonal meals. 14. A woman complained that her smart holiday lights began strobe flashing wildly during an eggnog toast, which caused her to fear a festive seizure risk. Guests panicked. One aunt spilled eggnog on the dog. Another relative tried to unplug the lights but tripped into the tree. The insurer reviewed her photos showing the lights flashing like a nightclub. A technician suggested a malfunction while the woman insisted the lights tried to attack the family. Neighbors reported hearing a sudden scream, followed by the sound of ornaments falling. The office remained calm despite the chaotic description. The claim proceeded cautiously. 15. A homeowner claimed their gingerbread man escaped the oven and left a handwritten note saying he was forming a union, which caused the entire household to panic. The family searched the kitchen while crumbs led to the hallway. One child reported seeing a gingerbread figure fleeing behind the sofa. The parent demanded compensation for baked goods sabotage and structural dessert failure. The insurer asked how a cookie could leave a note. The parent explained the holiday spirit gives pastries motivation. The office exchanged confused looks. A co-worker whispered that this might be the most organized cookie in history. The claim was filed anyway. 16. An employee reported that their Santa cam glitched during a holiday check and suddenly displayed them wearing reindeer antlers while barking orders like a strict supervisor. Co-workers replayed the footage and laughed until they cried. Human Resources requested a wellness check because they thought the employee was acting out seasonal stress. The individual demanded compensation for digital identity confusion. The insurer reviewed the video while trying to hide smiles. One staff member joked quietly that the employee made a convincing reindeer. The applicant insisted the glitch threatened their work reputation. The office documented the situation while pretending this was normal holiday technology behavior. 17. A family attempted to file a claim because their gingerbread house collapsed moments before they could photograph it for social media. The children screamed. The mother yelled structural pastry failure while the father tried to hold up the roof made of icing. Neighbors peeked in through the window wondering why the family sounded like a construction crew. The insurer asked if the collapse happened naturally. The family explained that humidity betrayed them, and gravity finished the job. The office tried to remain serious while imagining cookie walls sliding down. The claim moved forward after the parents demanded emotional recovery coverage. 18. A man hugged his inflatable snowman for a holiday photo when it suddenly deflated around him like a collapsing parachute. Children gasped. The man yelled snow-based abandonment while pulling himself out of the plastic pile. Neighbors laughed from across the street as the snowman wheezed softly on the driveway. The man demanded compensation for emotional shock and repair. The insurer asked how often the snowman was inflated. He answered that it sometimes sighed in the wind, which raised concerns. A staff member bit their lip to avoid laughing. The claim continued while the man described his heartbreaking snowman betrayal. 19. A churchgoer claimed their smart speaker randomly switched songs during midnight mass and blasted Baby Shark at full volume. The congregation froze. A few parents panicked, thinking their toddlers summoned the sound. The speaker continued confidently while the priest covered his face. The applicant demanded compensation for religious tech interference and psychological disruption. The insurer reviewed the report while another staff member hummed Baby Shark under their breath. The applicant insisted the device acted possessed. The office tried to remain serious while imagining the moment. The claim was documented with careful wording to avoid spiritual misunderstandings. 20. A homeowner stormed into the insurance office complaining that the neighbor's Santa waved faster than his own Santa, which caused him competitive holiday distress. He explained that the neighbor's decoration moved with aggressive cheer that made his look tired. Drivers slowed down to admire the neighbor's Santa, which made him furious. He demanded compensation for emotional imbalance. The insurer asked if he considered adjusting his own Santa. He said that would be surrendering. The spouse rolled their eyes and said this feud ruined 3 dinners. The office tried not to laugh while filing the strangest rivalry case of the season. 21. A drunk uncle slid down the chimney pretending to be Santa and immediately got stuck, which sent the entire family into panic mode. Kids screamed. The dog barked like the house was under attack. The fire brigade arrived shaking their heads while sparks drifted from the fireplace. Neighbors gathered outside watching the chimney rumble as the uncle shouted that he almost had the landing right. The homeowner demanded insurance for structural damage and emotional collapse. The agent tried not to laugh when hearing how the uncle insisted he was spreading cheer. The claim was filed while the family swore never to reenact Santa again. 22. A family rushed in. Explaining their dog had eaten 3 kilograms of Christmas pudding that contained a hidden good luck coin. The dog looked proud while the family panicked. The vet bill skyrocketed after the dog began acting like a pirate hunting treasure. Relatives argued about who hid the coin. The insurer listened as the owner demanded coverage for digestive treasure hunt complications. One agent whispered that the dog probably felt festive. The office tried to stay calm while hearing how the dog knocked over decorations, searching for more pudding. The claim moved forward while the dog wagged smugly. 23. A man reported that a drone delivering Christmas gifts crashed directly into his brand new car, which created a dent shaped like a startled reindeer. He stood in the parking lot yelling that Santa air delivery had failed him. Bystanders filmed as the drone fizzled on the ground, still spinning like it wanted a second chance. The insurer asked for evidence. The man played a video showing the drone wobbling before smashing onto the hood. A worker passing by muttered that drones needed flight school. The man demanded full compensation. The claim proceeded while the drone lay defeated beside the tire. 24. A parent filed a complaint after discovering that the Santa hired for their children's party was actually a burglar who stole the presents and every snack on the table. Kids cried while the fake Santa sprinted out the back door holding cookies. Neighbors reported seeing a man in a red suit leaping fences. The insurer listened as the parent demanded reimbursement for emotional disaster and gift loss. One staff member covered her mouth to stop laughing. The parent insisted this was the worst Christmas ever. The claim was recorded while the family tried to reassure the children that the real Santa was innocent. 25. A frantic parent rushed into the office saying their child had swallowed the tiny baby Jesus figurine from the nativity set. The child looked unfazed while the parents panicked. At the hospital, the doctor held an X-ray showing the little figure glowing inside the stomach. Relatives argued about who left the figurine within reach. The insurer listened as the parent demanded coverage for toy extraction and holiday chaos. A staff member whispered that this story would become family legend. The child later announced they felt fine. The claim was filed while everyone hoped the figurine would exit peacefully. 26. A homeowner filed a claim after a frozen turkey dropped from a helicopter during a charity event and smashed straight through the conservatory roof. Glass shattered. The turkey bounced across the floor like it was entering a wrestling match. Neighbors gathered while the homeowner yelled that Christmas dinner had attacked the house. The insurer asked for confirmation that the turkey was airborne. The homeowner showed video as the bird plummeted gracefully before destruction. Staff tried not to laugh at the absurdity. The claim was accepted while the homeowner insisted no roof could ever prepare for a flying turkey. 27. A family screamed when their Christmas tree suddenly combusted in the living room. Flames shot upward while everyone threw water and yelled about cursed fairy lights from the 1980s. The smoke alarm wailed. A cousin ran outside holding a burnt ornament. The insurer asked if the lights were old. The family nodded nervously and admitted they had been in a dusty box for decades. The adjuster tried to remain serious while imagining a possessed tree, igniting without warning. The claim was filed while the family vowed never to trust vintage lights again. 28. A man ran to his insurer complaining that his inflatable Santa blew across the yard during a storm and landed in the neighbor's pool. The neighbor claimed the floating Santa traumatized their children. The man insisted the wind betrayed him and demanded coverage. The neighbor described Santa bobbing up and down like he was relaxing on vacation. The insurer tried not to laugh as photos showed Santa face down in water looking exhausted. The claim included property damage and emotional distress. Both families argued over responsibility while children peeked through blinds, watching the soggy Santa drift. 29. A woman reported that her turkey exploded in the oven, sending hot stuffing across the kitchen and igniting the curtains. Relatives screamed as smoke filled the room. The fire department arrived shaking their heads while the turkey remained stuck to the oven door. The woman demanded coverage for culinary combustion and emotional shock. A firefighter joked quietly that the turkey tried to escape. The insurer reviewed the damage while trying to stay professional. The family argued about who set the oven too high. The claim moved forward after everyone agreed this was the most dramatic meal of their lives. 30. A parent filed a claim after their child accidentally set the elf on the shelf on fire when a candle tipped over. The elf melted into a tiny puddle which sent the child into tears yelling about crispy elf trauma. Relatives tried to comfort the child while the room smelled like burnt sugar. The insurer asked if the elf had been placed near flames. The parent admitted the positioning was questionable. Neighbors heard the commotion and knocked to check on them. The office documented the claim carefully while imagining the elf's dramatic final moment. 31. A drunk driver swore he swerved across the road because 8 tiny reindeer suddenly dashed in front of his car. officers asked if he meant real animals. He insisted they wore bells and looked offended when he honked. Witnesses saw nothing but tire marks shaped like panic. The insurer asked if he had been drinking. He admitted to eggnog but blamed the reindeer for reckless crossing. The adjuster struggled to stay serious. A bystander muttered that even imaginary reindeer deserved traffic training. The driver demanded coverage for avoiding what he believed was Santa's team. The office filed the claim cautiously. 32. A shopping center manager rushed into the insurance office explaining that their artificial snow machine malfunctioned and flooded an entire level of the mall. Shoppers slipped. Employees yelled. One man tried to surf on a cafeteria tray and failed instantly. Maintenance workers waded through ankle-deep foam while holiday decorations floated like shipwreck debris. The insurer listened as the manager demanded compensation for cleanup and lost business. A staff member whispered that it sounded like a winter amusement park gone wrong. The claim proceeded while the manager vowed never to trust seasonal machines again. 33. A family woke up Christmas morning to hundreds of spiders crawling out of their real tree after eggs hidden in the branches hatched overnight. Children screamed. The mother ran outside holding a stocking full of spiders. The father tried to drag the entire tree into the yard but tripped over presents. Neighbors watched in horror as the tree shook like a living creature. The insurer listened as the family demanded coverage for infestation shock. A staff member shivered at the story. The family insisted their holiday was ruined. The claim was filed while everyone tried to forget the details. 34. Guests at a holiday party panicked when a mistletoe drone began dive-bombing people, especially bald guests who suffered the worst hits. One man fell onto the sofa clutching his head. Another guest yelled that the drone had gone rogue. The host unplugged it, but the device kept spinning in circles. The insurer listened as the host demanded compensation for injuries and humiliation. A staff member had to cover their mouth to stop laughing. The guests, later, argued about who bought the drone. The claim was accepted while the office imagined a tiny helicopter chasing people with mistletoe. 35. A family turned blue after using artificial snow spray during their Christmas photos because the product reacted strangely with their skin. Relatives screamed while the dog barked in confusion. They drove to urgent care looking like cheerful winter Smurfs. The insurer heard their story and tried not to laugh as photos showed the entire family glowing blue under the lights. The parents demanded coverage for seasonal Smurfification. A nurse had told them the color would fade, but the embarrassment remained. The claim was filed while the office wondered how strong the spray must have been. 36. A homeowner attempted to fix Rudolph's glowing nose on a rooftop decoration while drunk and accidentally touched a live wire that sent him flying backward into a pile of snow. Neighbors saw sparks flash across the roof. The man groaned and insisted Rudolph attacked him. The insurer asked if alcohol played a role. The man said Christmas spirit guided him. Emergency workers lifted him off the snow while children watched with wide eyes. The office documented the claim carefully while trying not to imagine a man fighting with an electric reindeer. The man demanded full coverage for shock and humiliation. 37. A child flushed their elf on the shelf down the toilet because they believed it needed to return home urgently. The plumbing system immediately clogged. Water rose. Parents panicked. A plumber arrived shaking his head while pulling elf pieces from the pipes. The child cried that they only wanted to help. The insurer listened as the parents demanded coverage for extensive damage. One staff member whispered that elves deserved better travel arrangements. The claim moved forward while the parents vowed to hide all seasonal toys far from bathroom doors. 38. A flaming Christmas pudding rolled off a table during dinner and set the family dog's tail on fire. The dog ran through the house spreading sparks while relatives screamed and threw blankets everywhere. The insurer listened as the owner demanded coverage for injuries and property damage. A staff member tried not to laugh when hearing how the dog sprinted past the tree leaving tiny scorch marks. The family insisted they followed proper pudding lighting tradition. The claim was filed while the office imagined the dog racing with a tail that acted like a festive torch. 39. An office worker arrived at the insurer explaining that they had dressed as a Christmas tree for a party and accidentally caught fire when stepping too close to tea lights on a decorative table. Co-workers screamed as tinsel ignited and ornaments popped off the costume. Someone threw a punch bowl to put out the flames. The worker demanded coverage for burns and humiliation. The insurer asked if the outfit had been safe. The worker said creativity mattered more at the time. The claim proceeded while the office pictured an employee running through cubicles dressed as a burning holiday tree. 40. A gardener filed a claim after a group of carolers trampled his prize-winning garden while singing Silent Night. The group wandered through the yard without noticing they crushed rare flowers under their boots. The gardener yelled, but the singers continued harmonizing as if performing in a concert hall. Neighbors watched the destruction while pretending not to laugh. The insurer listened as the gardener demanded compensation for the ruined plants. A staff member asked if he had spoken to the carolers. He said they apologized but kept singing. The claim moved forward with detailed notes about musical property damage. 41. A frozen lake party turned into chaos when the ice suddenly cracked and 12 people fell straight into the freezing water while a parked Land Rover slid forward and sank like it was diving for treasure. Guests screamed. Someone tried to rescue the drinks first. The owner of the Land Rover yelled that Christmas was officially canceled. The insurer listened as he demanded coverage for shock and full excavation reimbursement. Rescue teams pulled shivering partygoers out while neighbors watched from the shore. The agent tried not to laugh at the image of a luxury car disappearing beneath the ice. The claim proceeded carefully. 42. A holiday event organizer called in a panic after Santa's grotto shed collapsed under heavy snow and crushed thousands of dollars worth of presents waiting for distribution. Parents gasped as the roof caved in. Kids cried while workers scrambled to pull out whatever survived. One elf actor quit on the spot. The organizer demanded compensation for structural failure and emotional devastation. The insurer reviewed photos showing toys flattened under wooden beams. A staff member whispered that even the fake snowman looked upset. The claim moved forward while volunteers rebuilt the grotto and tried to distract children with leftover candy canes. 43. A homeowner watched in shock as a sudden backdraft from the fireplace sucked the entire Christmas tree into the flames. Ornaments shattered. Needles burst into sparks. Family members screamed while the tree disappeared like a magic trick gone wrong. The insurer listened as the homeowner demanded coverage for fire damage and seasonal trauma. A technician asked if the fireplace had been cleaned. The owner admitted maintenance was overdue. Neighbors reported hearing the loud whoosh followed by chaos. The office documented the claim while imagining a decorated tree being swallowed whole by a hungry fireplace. The family insisted they barely escaped disaster. 44. A man filed a claim after attending a neighborhood laser light show that unexpectedly triggered his epilepsy and left him collapsed on the ground while onlookers panicked. The lights flashed rapidly across houses like a chaotic disco. A neighbor rushed to help while the host unplugged everything in. Shock. The insurer listened as the man demanded compensation for medical treatment and emotional distress. The staff reviewed the incident report with concern. One employee whispered that holiday decorations were becoming too advanced. The claim proceeded while the neighborhood agreed to retire all rapid flashing lights for the rest of the season. 45. A driver discovered he had left a frozen turkey in the trunk of his luxury car for 3 days, which resulted in a maggot infestation so severe the interior looked like a horror movie. He gagged. The detailing shop refused to touch it. The insurer listened as he demanded total interior replacement. One agent asked why he forgot the turkey. He said holiday stress destroyed his memory. Neighbors avoided the driveway because the smell traveled across the street. The office tried to stay professional while imagining maggots crawling across leather seats. The claim was eventually approved after extensive documentation. 46. A child used a string of Christmas lights as a lasso and accidentally pulled the entire tree onto himself and his gaming console. The parents rushed in screaming while the boy crawled out covered in tinsel and judgment. The Xbox lay crushed under branches. The insurer listened as the parents demanded coverage for damaged electronics and minor injuries. A staff member whispered that the child might consider rodeo school. Neighbors heard the crash and assumed a burglar had broken in. The claim was filed while the parents admitted they never expected the lights to be used as cowboy equipment. 47. An elderly woman reported that her dentures slipped into a bowl of mulled wine during a party and were accidentally thrown out when someone cleaned up. She panicked and made guests search through garbage bags in the cold. No one found them. The insurer listened as she demanded a replacement set and emotional compensation for embarrassment. Partygoers later said she handled the situation bravely, even while speaking with a soft whistle. A staff member struggled to keep a straight face imagining dentures floating in holiday punch. The office processed the claim while the woman vowed to avoid warm drinks at future gatherings. 48. A farmer, transporting Santa-themed decorations on a sleigh trailer, watched in horror as the trailer detached on the highway and skidded across lanes, smashing into 5 cars. Drivers swerved. One minivan ended up sideways in a snowbank. Police arrived expecting a normal traffic accident but stared at scattered reindeer props lying across the road. The insurer listened as the farmer demanded coverage for damages and apologized repeatedly. A staff member whispered that the reindeer looked too real. The claim moved forward while authorities cleared the festive wreckage and insisted trailers be inspected before future holiday deliveries. 49. A holiday guest attempted to ski down a staircase after mistaking snow machine foam for real snow during a party. He launched himself bravely, then immediately tumbled down every step while relatives screamed. Decorations shook. Someone yelled that he needed to stop watching winter sports movies. The man lay at the bottom covered in foam and shame. The insurer listened as he demanded coverage for his broken leg. A staff member asked gently why he thought the stairs were a ski slope. He blamed the atmosphere. The claim was filed, while guests replayed the incident on their phones. 50. A homeowner watched their giant inflatable snow globe explode without warning, sending plastic shards across the yard and demolishing a nearby greenhouse along with 3 innocent garden gnomes. Neighbors came running thinking a gas tank had burst. The homeowner pointed at the fallen snow globe remains and demanded reimbursement for the destruction. The insurer reviewed images of shattered glass and gnome casualties. One staff member whispered that the gnomes deserved medals. The homeowner insisted it was a manufacturing failure. The claim moved forward while everyone agreed the snow globe went out in dramatic holiday style. 51. A homeowner ran into the insurance office yelling that their nativity donkey escaped its pen and wandered into the neighbor's yard where it devoured an entire 40-foot Christmas lights display. The neighbor screamed as the donkey chewed through bulbs like candy. Children cried while the donkey trotted away, glowing faintly from swallowed lights. The homeowner demanded coverage for property damage and negotiation costs with the furious neighbor. The insurer listened as staff tried not to laugh. A technician asked how the donkey escaped. The homeowner blamed weak fencing. The claim moved forward while neighbors debated how to prevent future festive livestock incidents. 52. A party host triggered a disaster when fireworks meant for an outdoor holiday surprise were accidentally lit indoors and blasted straight through the ceiling. Guests dove under furniture. The smoke alarm screamed. Bits of plaster rained down onto the dessert table. The host begged the insurer for compensation for structural damage and emotional distress. A staff member whispered that even the cake probably needed therapy. The host insisted the fireworks were harmless until the fuse sparked unexpectedly. Neighbors reported hearing a boom followed by confused yelling. The claim proceeded while the host promised never to mix explosives and festivities again. 53. A shopper riding an escalator screamed when their Christmas jumper snagged on a step and began unraveling rapidly until the entire sweater was pulled away, leaving them standing nearly naked in the mall. Bystanders gasped while security scrambled to cover the person with a coat. The shopper demanded insurance for humiliation and wardrobe replacement. The insurer listened while struggling not to imagine the scene. A staff member whispered that escalators had claimed another victim. The claim moved forward while the shopper vowed to avoid festive clothing with loose threads. Mall staff later taped warning signs near the escalator to prevent future incidents. 54. A luxury car owner filed a claim after a snowplow buried his Ferrari under 8 feet of tightly packed snow. He returned from lunch to find only a small red mirror sticking out like a frozen relic. He shouted at passing workers who said they thought it was a toolbox. Neighbors gathered to watch rescue crews dig. The insurer listened as the owner demanded excavation reimbursement and emotional recovery. A staff member whispered that the Ferrari looked like it had been trapped for centuries. The claim proceeded while the owner insisted someone owed him a new paint job. 55. A Christmas Day argument escalated when a husband grabbed the holiday turkey and threw it out the window where it soared through the air and struck an innocent passerby. The passerby screamed and fell while relatives stared in shock. The wife demanded the insurer cover assault and poultry-related damages. Police arrived trying not to laugh uncontrollably. The insurer listened carefully as the story grew more chaotic with each detail. The passerby later admitted they had no idea birds could travel that fast. The claim moved forward while the couple promised to handle future arguments without airborne food. 56. A family filed a claim after a drone filming their Christmas morning celebration suddenly dropped from the sky and collided with Grandma's glass eye, which sent it flying across the room. Grandma yelled while the children searched under furniture for the missing eye. The drone continued spinning until the father kicked it away. The insurer listened as the family demanded coverage for a replacement eye and drone damage. A staff member whispered that this was the wildest holiday accident they had heard. The claim was accepted, while Grandma joked that at least she saw the drone coming before it struck. And there you have it, the 56 most absurd, brain-melting Christmas insurance claim complaints ever unleashed by humanity. If even one of these made your jaw drop or your brain leak out a little, hit like before your premiums go up from laughing too loudly. Make sure you subscribe so you're fully covered for next year's stupidity, because trust me, it always gets worse. And now tell me in the comments, what is the most chaotic Christmas disaster your family has ever survived? The wilder the better. Let's see who wins the title of Holiday Menace of the Year.